Hello, grade 4 student. Once again, a great scientific day with Miss Shara. Let us have our work plan for today. We are going to have science bits. We'll do a recall, a discussion, then you'll have an activity and do Feast to 5. Now for our science bits. It's about the environment. It's everything around you. You can see it, feel it, hear it, touch it, eat it, and interact with it. You are surrounded by life and nature. You affect it and it affects you. This is your environment. Lately, when you hear the word environment, the word problem also comes to mind. The level of interest people give to the environment varies. Some practice energy conservation, some are concerned but feel that it's too big a problem for them to be concerned about, and some don't believe that it's important. We talk about saving the environment, but the truth is we are really trying to save ourselves. The earth has been around for billions of years. If we damage it or hurt it in any way, it will just cleanse and renew itself. And how the planet will do that is not going to be healthy for the living things that thrive on it. So what will be the effects of the environment to the life cycle of the living things? So let me read our learning targets for today. I can describe effects of environment on the life cycle of plants and animals. Okay, so what is our lesson covered for today? The effects of environment on the life cycle of plants and animals. So an understanding on how the environment affects the stages of the life cycle of organisms is an important focus of discussion. It deals with different conditions and life-supporting interactions within and among different organisms. Environmental effects include both physical and biotic attributes throughout the life cycle of certain organisms. Habitat would pertain to both abiotic and biotic factors. So the environment is composed of two physical factors, biotic and abiotic factors. Now what are these abiotic factors? It includes genes, cells, organisms, and members of the same species, the plants and the animals. So all living things are called biotic factors from the word bio. Bio means life. So these are the biotic factors. How about abiotic factors? So physical attributes includes abiotic factors such as temperature, so high or low temperature, radiation, light, chemistry, all chemicals in the environment, and the geology, okay, placements of land and water. So what are the physical environments? Okay, we can say that it is water. So organisms should receive the right amount of water. If the plants and animals receive too much, what will happen? If it's too less, what will happen also? So instead of having a long period of time to live, long life cycle, then it will shorten. So water is a big factor in the life cycle of living organism. The next is gravity. Gravity can change the features of an organism such as their height, size, and shape, behavior, and habitat being occupied. So we talked last time about geotropism. The next physical environment is pressure. So pressure affects especially those who fly in high altitudes, and dive to deep ocean depths. Studies have proven that birds are extremely sensitive to small changes in air pressure, comparable to differences of only 5 to 10 meters in altitude. Recognizing air pressure is also handy because birds often migrate along frontal system, and changing air pressure is one of the first signs that a front is coming. So pressure plays a critical part in the life of any fish. All fish are susceptible to high and low pressure as they move through the different depths, as well as being sensitive to changes in pressure when prey or predators enter their personal space. Water pressure also affects fish and is a critical factor in their development. While many of the fish that live in the higher levels of the ocean have an organ known as a swim or gas bladder, those that rest in the deeper levels of the sea do not. For those fish that are found in the upper ocean waters, the swim bladder helps them to adjust to the water pressure and to move between the different depths by giving them more ballast or buoyancy as necessary. So the pressure, the air pressure and the water pressure alerts the birds and the fish to escape their predators, or to with the birds they can know if there is a storm coming. Same with the fish. So pressure is very important in the living things that lives or that flies and that lives on water, in the water. Next is wind and turbulence. It can influence heat, transpiration, and evaporation processes. Transpiration occurs when water from plants evaporates and enters the atmosphere to become part of the water cycle. This type of evaporation occurs when the plants open tiny pores on their leaves called stomata in order to bring carbon dioxide in from the air for photosynthesis. Transpiration and other types of evaporation create the water vapor that makes fog and clouds. Wind greatly affects plants throughout their growth. When plants are seedling, slight breezes help them grow more sturdy. Wind at gale force can damage or even break and blow down the strongest tree. Winter wind is particularly damaging because plants are unable to replace the water they lost and become. Next is the soil. Okay, so soil is where organisms feed and migrate. This is where we live. This is where we put our houses. This is our habitats. A lot of animals lives under the soil. We are living on top of the soil. So if the soil is unhealthy, then there is a problem for us because the plants will not get its proper nutrients. So soil, unhealthy and healthy soil can affect the growth or the life cycle of plants and animals. Then we have the biogeochemistry. So biogeochemistry consists of 6 major elements. We have the hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, sulfur, and phosphorus, which regulates the cycles of earth on the earth. Okay, so if there is a disturbances, or if there is something wrong with the chemicals, then the growth, of course, of plants and animals that thrives or needs it will also have a problem. Alright, so let's go to the next one, or the last one. The climate change has bigger impact to plants and animals. Changes in one ecological or environmental factor can affect the dynamic state of an entire ecosystem, particularly the stages of development on the life cycle of an organism. It impacts from climate change are happening now. The impacts are happening now. We can see it. You can see it in the picture. Look at the polar bear. Okay, these impacts extends well beyond an increase in temperature, affecting ecosystem and communities around the world. Things that we have or that we depend upon and value, like water, energy, transportation, wildlife, agriculture, ecosystem, and human health, are experiencing the effects of a changing climate. For many species of animals, climate is considered to be one of the major environmental conditions that affects the life of an animal. The changes that took place within the year affect the key stages of their life cycle. These include animals' migration, mating, and blooming. Changes is not a good timing for migration, breeding, and availability of food. So if there's lack of food, that will happen to the migrating animals. If they migrate for too long and then when they arrive at the place, there's no food, what will happen? So these changes really affects the life cycle of animals and plants. Alright, so those are the effects of the environment in the life cycle of the plants and animals. So physical environment like water, soil, climate change, pressure can either prolong the life or shorten the life of plants or animals. So once again, this is Miss Shara saying, have a scientific day, grade 4 student. If you have any question, you can message me. Right? Have a nice day. I love you.